Today on Arkham Audio, we are going to talk about play-by-post for tabletop RPGs. We all know just how hard it is to get everyone around a table to roll some dice, especially post-COVID. So let's talk about play-by-post. What is it? What are the pros and cons, and what advice I can give you to successfully set this up? Play-by-post is a way to play a role-playing game via messages, be they in chat on Discord or posts on a message board or via email. Today we're mainly going to be discussing a message board type system, but the pros and cons, advice, and tools can be used in any format of play-by-post. So let's get into it. What are the pros of a play-by-post system? Pros. One of the hardest things about being a tabletop gamer is actually finding the time to get everyone to the table. Play-by-post allows you the freedom of being able to play whenever you can. Play-by-post games excel at heavy role-playing and investigative type games. You can really delve into character development as well as story and plot development. You're not on the spot to remember everything off the top of your head and can take the time to really get descriptive. This makes play-by-post excellent for heavy role-playing and investigative games. Due to the ability to take your time and craft your responses and posts, you can really get into some amazing character development as well as expanding on your narrative. The game is instantly archived, making it very easy to look up information if you've forgotten something. Now, what are the cons? One of the biggest issues with play-by-post is that it can take a long time. If your group is only posting once every couple of days, this really slows things down. One of the ways to take care of this is to set expectations prior to playing. Set a schedule of posts like a requirement of how many and how often in a time frame. The super active player, non-active player thing. You may run into the issue where one player is super into it and posts all the time, monopolizing the spotlight and making it hard to wait and keep from advancing the story. If you encounter this, just remember, communication is key, and talk to them about sharing the player spotlight. The same is needed for the player that doesn't post in a timely manner and holds the game up. Talk with them and set expectations. Find out what is the blocker to their participation and help them overcome it if you can. Combat. It can be difficult to do fast-paced combat as you're waiting for responses. Combat is usually fast-paced and frantic. I've heard that in combat, sometimes it often doesn't work well in a play-by-post format. I, however, disagree. Personally, I feel it completely cuts out analysis paralysis and gives your players time to think out their actions, to be decisive and descriptive about their actions. One of the tools I like to use is a letter and number-based grid map where the characters can see exactly where they are and where they were in past turns. This really keeps down any confusion due to delay between posts. Slow speed. After the new game energy subsides, sometimes there's slower speed. Oftentimes a play-by-post game can start off with a lot of enthusiasm and player engagement. After a couple of weeks, this can wane, and if not put in check, can be the absolute death of your game. My biggest piece of advice is, just like before, communication. Make sure there is regularly scheduled communication with your players. Check in with them. Encourage out-of-game chat. Keep them engaged and your game will have less of a chance of dying. Another piece of advice is to try and keep the game size down. The fewer participants, the less waiting your players will typically have to do. Recap past events when there's been a period of downtime. I usually like to give a brief synopsis as well as the current leads or tasks that the players have mentioned. This makes it easier for them to jump back into the swing of things. Set expectations. For example, one post every day, or one post required every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Just make sure you explain what type of game you'll be running and what your expectations for participation are. Set up an OOC discussion and keep it active and engage your players, be it on Discord, Facebook Messenger, or text. Do a weekly check-in with players and see where everyone is at. Touch base with everyone. I've said it multiple times in this video, but communication is critical to the success and engagement of a play-by-post game.